Hello, it's Meg, and I have another time lapse to show you today of a giant ice dragon. I've never actually done a dragon before, at least not on this scale, so it's something I've been wanting to do for quite some time. I even created my own concept art for this build, which I ended up following pretty closely. It did help me out quite a bit as I was creating this. So here's a time lapse of my version of an ice dragon. Hope you guys enjoy it. So the first thing I did, obviously, was to create a base for my dragon, and once that was done, then I could start actually mapping out the organic. And I'm just going to be using the World Edit Sphere brush to create this basic body shape and map out my pose. I'm also using the voxel blend ball brush to smooth it over as I go. Right now it's kind of looking like a dinosaur, but that will be fixed once we add the wings. When it came time to do the wings, I did start them out with a sphere brush, but then cleaned them up by hand and added in all of the extra details by hand as well. I probably could have used some commands to make this a little faster, but I felt more comfortable doing it by hand in this case. Since the dragon's wings are folded, I have to make sure I show that by adding these extra curves and not making them straight across. And once I finish with one, I'm gonna copy and rotate it for the other side. Now to do my head, I'm going to create an outline of the profile to help me get the shape right, and then I will build out half of it with the three-dimensional shape. And once I have half of it looking right, then I'm gonna copy and flip that over. Next, I'm going to do the dragon's feet. This took me a little bit of time to figure out how to do the first one, but once I got it kind of figured out, the rest of them are much faster to do. After I add these spikes down the back and tail and do some extra smoothing, then I'll be ready to start adding some color. Now we can finally start to add some colors to this dragon. I was debating whether I wanted to make it look more snowy and white or more icy and blue. And me, being as indecisive as I am, kind of mixed the two. I ended up doing the colors on the body of the dragon at least 3 times over because I was so indecisive on how I wanted it to look. But I hope you guys agree my final decision to make the body bright blue works well. I think it really does, especially once all of the other colors come into play. Since the body is such a bright blue, I wanted to make the wings much softer looking in color, so I used light blues and whites on the wings. At this point, I also decided to add extra details and little spikes to the dragon's back. Now that my dragon is finished, I just want to color the terrain a little bit and add a little bit extra landscape. I'm not going to make it too crazy. I did just do a quick texture coloring on this rock and added some snow and ice, and then the only other thing I'm going to add is some giant ice spikes in the back. So I didn't spend tons of time doing this, it was just to kind of help get a little more atmosphere around this dragon, so you can kind of get a feel for the environment that it would live in. Even though this build took me a lot longer than it should have, I really do like how it turned out, and I hope you do too. I do personally think it looks better with shaders, so let's go ahead and take a look. Again, thank you guys so much for watching this time lapse. If you are interested in seeing more mega builds like this, consider subscribing. I also do tutorials for smaller, more survival-based builds, but I do plan on doing a few more creative tutorials in the future if you're interested in learning how to do mega builds like this. That being said, I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I hope to see you some other time. Bye!